All right, Larry Krueger here at Levi's after a little practice. Now today, training camp has ended, and now that the training camp has ended, we don't get to see the team portion of practice, so we only get to see the beginning of practice. One of the things that was noticeable is that Brock Purdy took fewer reps today, and we asked the Niner PR staff about it. They just said that this is part of Purdy's pitch count. So he's fully healthy, he's been fully cleared, but they still have him on somewhat of a pitch count. So today, for example, he threw fewer passes. He was out there throwing. He just wasn't doing the exact same throwing that he normally does. So that was really, we got a chance to watch some of the early portion of the individual drills, and just from watching the quarterbacks, they were out there, Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen were out there taking their normal throws, and Purdy was just taking fewer throws. He was still playing catch a little bit, and he was doing all the drills. It just was doing them, instead of taking multiple reps, he was taking a singular rep in each drill and then letting Allen and Darnold take the rest. So that was pretty much what we gleaned from practice. We did get a chance to talk to three players after practice: Brandon Aiyuk, Aaron Banks, and Diamador Lenore. We'll start with Aiyuk, who said it was weird, seeing Trey Lance, departing and being in a Dallas uniform. Aiyuk said he's really looking forward to the opener against the Steelers, which is now a week from next Sunday. He was asked if he was surprised by the Lance trade, and he said he really wasn't surprised by the trade. It didn't catch him off guard. He basically talked about the camp that they just had and said he thought it was a great camp and that there was great competition. I asked him a little bit about the Pittsburgh game coming up here in a couple weeks, about Patrick Peterson and Joey Porter Jr., and he said that he's watched Porter Jr. a little bit on social media and some of the highlights, and he's played against Peterson quite a few times, but he hasn't gotten deep into the film and the cut-up film on either one of those Steelers corners. He was asked about what's the difference between NFL wide receivers and college wide receivers, and to Brandon, he said that the main difference between being an NFL wideout compared to the college wideout is just the urgency that NFL wideouts play with. He was asked about Ronnie Bell, and he said 3 times Ronnie's doing a great job, that he came in ready to go mentally, and it sounded like, he feels like he's pretty advanced for a rookie. I also asked him about Deshaun Jameson, and he said that he looked good early on. He said, "That's my dog." He said, "That's my guy." But he also commented that he almost had a pick 6 in the Charger game, and he's like, man, he's got to finish those. He's got to finish those pick 6s. And then he was also asked about Demo Lenore and what is his impression of Lenore from last year to this year. And he said that he looks more confident, that he became a real pro this year. So that was Brandon Aiyuk. Then we had a chance to talk to Aaron Banks. And Aaron Banks said, hey, man, it's been a long camp. He said he's ready to play somebody else instead of going up against the Niner D-line over and over and over again. He was asked about Javon Hargrave, and he said, yeah, man, the guy's really powerful. He's strong. He plays with great leverage. Then he talked about some of his injuries. He did have a concussion early on. He also said that last week he cramped up and he got dehydrated. And he said usually that happens a couple times in camp. This time it only happened once, so he feels like he's making an improvement. And then he was asked, where's his game improved the most from last year to this year? And he said that where he's really improved the most is in run blocking. He says he's really been working on his run blocking, and that he feels like he's the most improved in that area of offensive line play. He was asked about the Steelers matchup here in a couple weeks, and he talked about how Cam Hayward is, big and strong and physical for a defensive tackle, and how, the Steelers look really good on film. I asked him a little bit about, the fact that this is now year 2 with the interior 3 of Brendel and then him and Burford at the guard spots, and he said the communication has improved quite a bit, inside between the 3 of them, between last year and this year at the same time. And then I also asked him about Javon Kinlaw, and he said that, Kinlaw's maturing as a person. He said that not only is he maturing as a player, but he felt like he was in a good spot mentally and just improve and maturing overall as a person. And then we had a chance after that to talk to Diamador Lenore. And, Lenore had an interesting perspective on camp. He said that the young defensive backs have all improved a lot. And we can see that improvement as well. And he said, it's really added to the competition that they've had this summer. And he's, of course, talking about himself and probably Ambry Thomas. There's a lot of good young, Quantrez Knight, some of the good young defensive backs. Taylor Hawkins has improved quite a bit. So he just said that, with them all improving at the same time, the competition has been fierce this summer. I asked him, since he's playing a lot of the slot, and he may be the 49ers slot receiver or slot corner, does he prefer the slot or outside? And he says that he likes to play both. He says he likes the versatility. He said he's really got to be, in the slot, he's got to be much more on top of his game. Everything happens a little faster. He's got to absolutely know down and distance on every play, which you got to know it as an outside corner as well. But it's at a premium when you're inside because everything happens so much faster. But he said he likes to play. He likes to play nickel. He likes to play in the slot, but he also likes to play outside. And what he really likes is to be able to do it all, whatever Coach Wilks needs. He was asked if he's played a lot of slot corner in college, and he said he only played one game in the slot, and it was against Cal, because Cal's best receiver was in the slot, and so he was being the star corner at Oregon, was matching up with Cal's best receiver, and so he played the slot just that one game. He was asked about Steve Wilks, and he just said that Wilks has a tremendous amount of information. At one point he said, man, he's got all the answers. So that was good to hear. I asked him also about Brandon Aiyuk, because Aiyuk has just had an absolute incredible camp. I mean, Brandon Aiyuk looks primed to have his career year. And I asked him, I said, you covered Aiyuk last year, and you've covered him this year, and where do you see the improvement? Where's he really upped his game? And he's jumped right in and said, man, his route running is way better than last year. And then he also said that he'll sky for a ball. He'll go way up in the air for a football, where maybe in the past he didn't get quite as high. So, but that was interesting to hear Demo, who goes up against Aiyuk every day, really say that it's Aiyuk's route running that he's taken to a different level. And then Lenore was also asked about Ronnie Bell, and he just said, man, the guy's a dog, and that he shows up, he's prepared, and he just wants to get better. So a lot of interesting stuff for sure today at training camp. Or it's not really training camp now. Now we're into the regular season practices. But the only thing from practice that really stood out was that Brock Purdy was on a pitch count today and was taking fewer reps overall. But then it was good to talk to three of the Niner veterans after practice and kind of glean some of their thoughts and some of the things that their observations on the team this summer and, of course, the season ahead. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krueger Show. Check them out in Corte Madera and Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krueger Show on YouTube.